I wonder if this has any consequences. I see. Epic Battle Fantasy 4 is a video game where child kidnapping and looting tents and churches is optional. In this game, the same characters, and smaller, must do the same thing as before. Kill a lot of slime as they go on their age-appropriate adventures, which isn't weird since Mike watches anime and he's cool.
Yeah, their house.
Now some might say that in the last video I didn't explain the story. Well, don't worry, because the story was that the two killed Hans. Then they didn't. Then Macaroni woke up and stole their evade boosters, becoming so powerful he tore a hole in space. Then Matt killed them and they went drinking with their cat and the squid that they killed. Afterwards, they began to do the only logical thing and take everything they wanted. Sadly though, this would coincide with a great thieving of shiny rocks. See, a long time ago, in the exact same time and place, there was nothing. Then Godcat created everything, cause she, yes, she, we know since the priest said so, was lonely. But made cats be the dominant race. Then cats let the humans do everything, so Godcat decided that the only correct response was to remove the cat's legs and arms. Then she left. That is the in-game explanation for why there were cat ruins, and finally explains your cat, whose name is No Feedback. Look, it took 4 games to explain why cat, and it'll probably take another 4 to explain why EBFA takes place in the Neko Power universe. Sadly though, when God left, 3 quarters fell out of her pocket, and the humans decided that unless they wanted her to return, they shouldn't be brought back together. Sadly though, some cats didn't think that way. So now off to fight God and her edgy Twitterosi, because you don't know how to take big shiny rock. To make sure the world can be restored to human order, where your first slice of pizza costs 50,000. Gameplay hasn't changed, kill the white guys first. The combat is the same, with increased enemy variety. Remember the 3 South American countries from before? Yeah, well get this. Now we have Rio de Janeiro, English, Liechtenstein, Afghanistan, Italy, which just like in real life could be entirely avoided if you just had a ladder, and Siberia. Oh, but the enemies are probably the same. Well, yes, the Americans and the robot buddies are still here, but no, since Brazil recently imported bats, alcoholic dogs, Charmander cosplayers, and bears, who can be raised by 1 arrow, but not by 3. TBH, English hasn't changed all that much, except I think this is more in North. Liechtenstein has since converted itself into a factory to support its #1 export. The hotel mini fridges, and thus they need adequate protection. Haha, graveyard of empires. Now how about you show me a feminist? Italy, bring a flamethrower and a pack of ice. You'll thank me later. And Siberia. Well, what did you expect? It's a holy place. And walk over lava as you go through wood, snow, and the Welsh Protectorate of Cornwall, which is currently going through the 3 days of the year when it doesn't rain. Now, if you've never played a turn-based JRPG before, or seen my previous video, then I'm assuming you don't know how rock, paper, scissors work. Fire is effective against stuff with flesh, mostly, including the undead, since it's still made out of flesh. The other undead is weak to wind. Flying is weak to wind and lightning, and so are some robots. Clay is neither strong nor weak against fire, unless they have adequate clothing. Jellyfish aren't weak to fire, except for the vegan one. The ice elemental is the only elemental to be weak to dark, and fire is to wind. And ice is effective against fire, but not all fire. Dark things are weak to white people jokes.
Some people think George is weird because he has sideburns behind his ears.
And white people are weak to coal. Remember the color rule, because some things are natural, like how wraiths get healed by dark magic and dark bushes don't, and how dark bushes are strong against fire and orange isn't. Also, some battles may have enemies with 2 opposing elements, so you may accidentally heal them. Enemies are set to their own corresponding environments. Need wood? Go to the Amazon, where they can give cut logs life but can't protect a potentially world-ending gem in the village's square. Need gems? Light some candles. Need electronics? Go to the place with sewer squids and AT&T, or look behind the radioactive waste barrels. Need stat increasing beef? Go to the graveyard. Need cactus and flowers for the goal at the start? See you after 3 bosses. Need mercury from spirits or milk from chimera bears? Honestly, why are you here? Oh, but since we know the area, we can guess the bosses. True, you probably figured out that the forest, just like in the last game, has a vegetable. The crystal caverns have an element-switching golem who's made up of independent floating rocks. Liechtenstein is secretly a US cover for the new Spider-Man movie. Afghanistan doesn't really have a boss, but it does have Laura and that zombie Hydra, which isn't really that hard. The jungle, I mean, come on guys, you've seen the squids. It's a plant. And Siberia, the final boss, what did you expect really? Now, I know you've been meaning to ask. Why did you choose the spacesuit for fighting the robots? Well, since it has a higher lightning resistance than the ninja set, or as we call it, the Viet Cong helmet. And in case you still haven't figured it out,
Just having a villager stabbing fight.
Matt does sword, Woman does low defense, and Hans hides from a tree. But now they're smaller, who can do arrow and bow, and can summon wind, tornadoes, and saw blades. The characters haven't changed since Epic Battle Fantasy 13-2. Matt likes swords, meat, robbery, and apparently takes care of pets. Woman still cries every time she sees a dead animal, but has no problems plunging Liechtenstein's 14 inhabitants into bankruptcy. And she's magic. Hans is still a fervent enemy of R34 while retaining his mechanical, engineering, and technical skills and interests, while retaining his ability to not smell sewage. While being pursued by the girl from the previous game. And smaller is a woman who is really skilled at finding mushrooms in mushrooms. She's also the most pure of the party since she's never seen a computer, and if you haven't noticed, she hasn't seen a lot of modern day inventions, like the warning label for being subtle. And yes, she is old enough to fight God.
Wait, I just realized. I put the music too high. There we go. Okay, now I'm ready to fight.
And impersonate that one white guy in Arabia. Now, I can respect you for skipping through to this point. I do the same, but I do have one legitimate recommendation that could either make or break your game. When you enter the first combat area, walk up to your first enemy and don't ask why something your village made is now hostile, and then smash S until you get Matt, the best character. Now go back and kick some ass. Congratulations, you're officially an EBF4 speedrunner. The combat's the same and so are the limit breaks, except Matt had to be nerfed and smaller can have 2 limit breaks since you'll only be using the first one once. Now, some might say that the Soul Dev reused some things from the previous game, like how the first area is a forest or how the jungle is a lot like the forest from the previous game. Well, that's not true. Back then we had green slimes and bushes, now we have big green bushes and Vietnamese people. Also back then, Jack was a robot. Now he's a vegetable. And back then we had carnivorous butterflies that heal. Now it's plants. In fact, the bugs are gone. What about the Protector? Well, see, he has more exhausts and new runes. Now if you're wondering if there are any major changes from the previous game you should know about, the answer is no, not really. I mean, Doom now takes 5 turns, Garlic heals fire. Region helps avoid insta-death, which would have really helped Woman before. Defense down and Siphon haven't changed. Although if the base game was hard enough, don't use a slime cap. The reforging does make a bit more sense, but even still, Thor's hammer needs wood, Crystal Bow needs concrete, Ice Needle that needs liquid ice and solid water, the difference being that solid water only forms in cold climates such as the Crystal Caverns or the sunny beach. Bloodblade that needs dirt, Thundercord that needs blank CDs, Cow Horns that need milk, Cat Ears that need bottled darkness, the Nurse's Hat which needs cupcakes, and the Diamond Pin which doesn't need diamonds. Also, the trailers are now absolute masterworks since they only include 3 enemies. Although, there are some sad news I have for fans. See, Rodsack accidentally made this game so advanced that there wasn't a computer that could run it. So he sadly had to downgrade it and make the 4th character a water boy. This also meant that due to budget cuts, Matt couldn't kick a creepy snowman. But even with such a major loss, the game still came out great, and the same can be said for the returning and new characters that were implemented, even if 2 are dead and 1 is psychic. And one thinks a meal consists of beer, although better than the alternative. But thankfully, the overworld discussions are still here, along with their cousins. And both didn't suffer from the chocolate coin crush. Also, if you hated looking for treasure in bushes, well now you get to look for glows.
Good fucking luck finding it!
Oh, but that's too hard. Really? Hard is switching out characters for individual reactions and putting them back in the same order. Hard is trying not to have everyone else die. Just give them stat boost. Hard is trying to not break your keyboard while solving puzzles. Don't worry, that's what chickens are for. Hard is trying to not kill yourself when you look at the achievement before starting the game and realizing you can't get one in Shorter's house. But don't worry, because that's what your neighbors are for. Hard is trying to survive while slime. Hey, that's an actual in-game effect. Hard is trying to beat the dark characters. Oh, what's so bad about that? Well, at least we can deal with them, unlike with the puzzle. Overall, I give this game a Wanker's Cramp achievement out of...
And I'm forced to prematurely ejaculate my elephants out the gates.
An Iraqi cat. Sadly though, this one is priced. But for the increased map size and enemy diversity, I think it's more than worth it. Plus, it's angry music. And that's coming from a guy who only listens to saliva. And it goes to support the Chad who posted his entire 117-page college report on DeviantArt so that his hard drive doesn't die.
NPCs in this game are very nice to each other.
1 to 2 days before finishing this video, right when I was about to leave for a week.
Anyway, I'm gonna crack open a beer. Wow, that was a noisy can.